Files. We are with Super Dave this morning, and we are going to look at some videos that I found on X, which I thought were really interesting. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Miss Roxy. Thank you for having me on.
Well, thank you for joining us. We are just on here this morning, guys, hanging out looking at some videos. And you may look at this later. You can leave it in the comments. You can post it on my community board. And I want to give the artist who created this stuff the full credit. She, it doesn't say. This is the name of the page. I can't even production. They're on X. Um, and a lot of their videos has kind of an iPad goat. Like there's 279 things you're supposed to see in it, and you got to watch it 10 times to find it. This is the most recent one, and we will go back to the beginning. Stop there. All
That
right,
looks
there's
kind of
stop.
ritualistic, doesn't it?
Well, everything about the Super Bowl or a major sporting event is sex magic. And it's kind of, and I don't want to get too graphic about everything on the air, but if you think about the fact that you have two teams, two people, the goal is to get something through upright goal, a soccer goal, a basketball hoop. You are trying to take one object and put it in the other, and when you get it in the other, there's great praise and adulation. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Without
ma'am.
getting too graphic about it. All right. Well, then you got 80,000 people cheering at that event during that in a collective mind of an up or a down, depending on which team you're on. But a lot of that stuff is set at particular times with particular events, and it's based off of their SRA stuff. It's satanic, ritualistic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they direct that these uh, are dressed definitely like ritualistic, dark.
Well, when you look at this, there's been a couple of these videos, and we'll watch a couple of them. But in one of them, you see that this person in the middle with this mask on in the other videos is Epstein. But this is from the Tom Cruise movie Eyes Wide Shut,
Yes,
is where
ma'am.
this comes from,
Wow.
the costumes. And it starts showing you the Super Bowl. And
Yes, ma'am. A lot of players, but this is definitely ritualistic and coming from the dark.
mm-hmm. All right, now here's your halftime act, which is a man that pretends to be a woman, and the whole world has gone off hinge about this dude doing the what is his name, Bad Bunny or whatever, doing the show, which I think is just horrific. But see, he covers that one eye, tells you he's in the club,
Oh yeah.
piles of money, and if you look back here at the back, we've got all of this guy's friends back here, and you got both teams over there piling up the money. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
who wins, everybody's getting a pile of money. Then he runs off stage to you got players, you got this looks like Vegas with the odds and stuff of the game.
Are they
Shooting each other.
predicting here? Are they predicting here who's going to be in the Super Bowl, or do we already know?
I'm assuming we already know. This is the Patriots versus the Seahawks.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see. You got two boxers sitting at the stage that look like they're reading cards, teleprompters. There's a lot here to decode, and I just want to make everybody aware of it so they can go look at them and see what they see. He runs off from here, and look at there. There's that tall basketball guy.
Yes, ma'am. That's Michael Jordan.
And then look at that monster sitting on top of that Moloch. And the slot machine even says Moloch. What does it say? Dad, dad, dad. So that was his sacrifice. Dad, dad, dad. We know that. You normally have to give up a parent or a firstborn, and if you don't give up the firstborn, they have to be transed. All right, and this shows you the Rat Pack.
Oh wow, yes, ma'am. I've been talking a lot about, the
All
stars.
right,
Like, go ahead.
that is Bush Sr.
Sure looks like it with Nixon in the back, and
Them wanting to kill Kennedy.
think so.
Uh-huh.
Huh?
That's Bush Sr. with a Kansas City Chiefs jacket on.
2002. Did these
D-
play the same? Did they play the Super Bowl back then?
Huh. We'll have to go back and look at that.
These two same teams.
Let's see. 2002 Super Bowl.
I ask a lot of questions. I don't have a lot of answers, but yeah,
Patriots and the Rams. Yep. Yep.
what a
This is a,
coincidence.
now watch who he hands the trophy to
Bush.
with the Patriot Act in his hand.
Oh wow.
Now he runs off. That looks like Hebrew to me.
What
That
does?
right there, right up there on that tunnel.
Yes,
Not,
ma'am. On the wall.
yep, that looks like. I have to go back and look at that. Now I noticed this the first time I watched it. Up here on the top, the like team banners that are around. This one says DHS. This one says ICE. That says Border Patrol in the back center back there. And you notice you got ICE agents there. You got some girl with blue hair screaming at herself in a phone in a mirror like she's taking a selfie. This in the background with that flag up there tells me it's Antifa.
And the mirror is broke, like meaning 7 years of bad luck.
Yeah, that or broken identity, one or the other. Because the first way to let a demon, one of the thing about these transgenders that I found, and it tells you this in the Bible, that when you lose your personal identity, in the Bible, when God announces himself, he says, I am. That's one thing about owning your identity, owning your soul, knowing who you are. And it tells you that when demons and dark spirits come in, the easiest way for them to enter is into somebody who has a broken identity, which is one of the reasons in all of that sexual ritualistic assault in Satanism is you break a person's mind, and when you break their mind, even children, it causes what they call an alter ego or an alter identity to come in.
Yes, ma'am.
This is part of the reason that most of these trans people call themselves they or them. They don't know if they're a he or she or an I. And once they are a they or a them, they have just opened the door for demon possession.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, when I absolutely adamantly refuse to call anybody they or them. I will not address you by your demon name. I'm just not.
Yes, ma'am. There's a lot of darkness going on here. This background, communism, the
Mhm.
Apple iPhone, and
Yep.
all these people are dressed in black. And back here in the background, it looks like, I don't know, like ISIS.
That or Antifa. Cause that black flag right there, that looks like the Antifa flag to me. I'm not sure what that one is, and I don't think I can.
Yes, ma'am. It's hard to decode all, but I'm glad you're looking into it.
Well, see, then we got illegal marked through, and we got a handicap sign above this mirror that she's screaming into, taking a selfie. See that right there looks like more Hebrew to me.
Oh, wow.
That says Vegas. And yep, see it tells you right there Super Bowl. And this is DHS, Homeland Security versus Antifa. Let's see. Then he goes back to the casino, and there's Kobe. Helicopter on top would crash, crash, crash on the slot machine. Back onto the field, where again he's got DHS versus Antifa. Then he runs back to the beginning. And that's one of the mildest of the videos he has on here that has caught my attention. Then another one. Let's see. Cut the music off so we don't have to hear it. All right, this one at the beginning. See the right here, the dude in the dog mask?
That's not the
Well, we
lion.
know Trump. Yeah, that's a lion, and this one looks like he's wearing a devil mask. And we know that Trump just had some kind of furry ball at Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, that's a lion and a devil, it appears.
This
This
is kind
duck.
of
Go
like
ahead, Dave.
iPad Go 2.
Yeah, there's a lot of symbolism in it. I mean, it really struck me as iPet Goat. And the thing about Heliofont, I know he put out those like 10 little shorty, videos look like it's from a grainy cell phone. But as far as AI generated stuff, I hadn't seen nothing in a while. But this is the one that triggered me for iPet Goat. Well, you want to explain to everybody what all this floorboard and all of this stuff up here is, Dave?
I don't know a lot about it, but the floor is the checkerboard, meaning for the Illuminati.
Absolutely. And we really can't tell who the old man in the hot tub is, but the white dove. White dove normally represents goodness or turning toward goodness. Who is this, guys? Me
I'm
and
not,
Dave.
I'm not sure. It kind of looks, to me, a favoritism of Kurt Cobain, but I could be wrong.
Well, and the tattoos on the face throw me off a little bit, but I'm not sure because I'm not good with pop culture. So whoever in the audience knows which one this is that they took out, let us know. But that's what we're gathering from the dove and the people in the bathtub, because the next one in the bathtub tells you exactly what this is. Why, there's Miss Houston
Whitney
in the
Houston.
in the bathtub. There's more of them in here that we've all questioned. And
Yeah,
see
these
that?
rabbit holes go deep. I mean, there could be symbolism right there on the back wall that we really wouldn't, put in place. To you got
Oh
to know.
yeah. And you got to know who some of these pop culture people are. And I'm not the greatest at pop culture because yeah, I hear a song and I know that Nirvana sung it, but without knowing that that's a picture of Kurt, you know what I mean? I'd have to look at it twice because it just wasn't something I was into.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
see,
That looks familiar back there where it says "hole" on the picture.
yeah,
It's
that's
kind of
Courtney Love Cox's band, or Courtney Love's band.
is that a cross right below her or hanging from her neck? Just asking.
It appears that way.
Yes,
We're gonna
ma'am.
have
Well,
to
what
do
is
some.
what is that to the right of the picture?
I don't know. Let's see if we can do a screenshot and blow it up.
That that brown thing to the right of the picture too.
Oh, I
You
forget.
know, a dove normally means like peace, right?
Right. And what my brain goes to is that maybe these people were trying to find peace and were fixing to out it, because quite a few people that have suddenly died or overdosed or whatever. I can't tell what that thing is up there to the right, Dave. I did a screenshot of it. Can't
Yes,
tell.
ma'am.
I'll have to do that when we're not deep in. Let's go back up in size. Good spot though. We'll have to go back and see what that is. This to me looked like Jim Morrison.
Yes, ma'am.
How did Jim Morrison die?
I'm not sure.
Let's
I can
see.
ask Siri.
Jim Morrison death. Died at age 27 in a bathtub.
In a bathtub, like Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
It says Jim Morrison's cause of death, it says, was a heart failure.
Mm-hmm. Theories range from accidental overdose. Bull. This right here is telling you that that whole thing is bull. That they were shutting him up, or that he wouldn't play their game any longer. And when you think about people in the music industry with one hit wonders, or they have 2 or 3 hit wonders and they disappear, and you think, well, like, gosh, that was a really great song. Why did they disappear? Just remember, folks, those are the people that wouldn't drink the Kool-Aid. I don't know who this dude is. So if anybody knows, I want to know who he
Beck, I don't know, but just a wild guess.
who.
Ever heard of Beck?
I don't know. Let's see. Was he a singer?
Yes, ma'am. I could be wrong. Something like this to me would take me hours to sift through.
That's why I wanted some crowd help on this. I
I'm
figured they
just
could help us identify it.
right off the top of my head. I mean, I don't know
Um,
any more than anybody else. But if there was people in the chat chatting with us, they would know. Some of them would.
all
Look
right. Well,
behind. There's debris there. There was a plane crash.
that's Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper. So, and so maybe the Buddy Holly incident wasn't what we thought it was. Maybe he wouldn't drink the Kool-Aid. Because one of the things I spoke to, one of the first people I ever interviewed on the air, I don't know who these dudes are, but I'm sure that Carousel Club back there will give us some kind of clue. We'll figure out who they are.
Yes, ma'am.
But one of the first guys I ever interviewed when I started my show was in a heavy metal band, like late 70s, early 80s, straight out of high school. Kind of got the opportunity to go on tour with a much bigger band. And we didn't mention the names of bands, but these are people who have had multi platinum kind of, they were the opening act.
Yes, ma'am. If you
And
notice, real quick before you let it play anymore, if you notice, the lamp is putting the opposite of the light. That normally
uh-huh,
the opening of the lampshade would have more light than the actual shade itself on the ceiling.
true. Oh, I see that. Good catch, Dave.
That's what I'm saying. Is each little thing has its own meaning that
Well, see, that's like I Pet Goat. When we looked at the apple rolling across the floor, I happened to be looking at the laptop screen through a FaceTime with Shannon, and we caught the coin up under Obama's foot.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, and me and Dave were just looking at this a minute ago. If you look at the wall right here, it's just a curtain and the dove lands. Well, won't get fooled again. The Who. So we know he's one of the Who, I'm assuming. Well, when we pan out of the room, the wall has now changed. We got graffiti on it. That graffiti is what struck my attention because in I Pet Goat, when it does the Bush and then Obama, and you see the little girl in the floor with the apple, when it zooms out leaving the building, remember the Psalms 21 thing is graffitied on the side of the building.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what struck my attention. This might be I Pet Goat related because most artists who are true artists, regardless of what name they go by, if they do more art up under another name, there will always be tagged symbolism between them.
Okay.
So if everybody's not figuring out what I'm hinting at, I'm hinting out as this artist, Heliofont. That's what I'm getting at, Dave.
Yes,
There's a
ma'am.
lot in here. All right, this is Pantera, the band. The guy's head that the dove landed on, some complete stranger walked into a venue where they were doing a concert and assassinated him. Then took a hostage. The cop come in and shot the assassin in the head with a shotgun at a small venue.
Wow, that's crazy.
his death was crazy. His name was Dimebag Darrell.
Dimebag Darrell. There's a little crowd behind these people. Uh,
Uh-huh.
it's okay. It's
Oh, it's okay.
untelling what that picture is.
Yeah. Now we're going back into another room. And I don't know who this dude is. I probably should know who this dude is, but I don't. So anybody that knows,
Yeah,
this is
leave it
it.
in the comments at the end of the video there. If you watch it, let us know anything you see in this video. And that's right at the Super Bowl.
All right, there's Chester. Now, everybody knows that Chester was fixing to go public. Chester Bennington was in the process of filming a movie with a documentary with some other guys that told about the deep, dark secrets of what these people do to children in Hollywood and the music industry. And for anybody who's not aware, the music industry has been manipulated in a million different ways since World War II. World War II is your key because from the 30s forward, not to say they weren't doing it before, but in the 30s, they obtained some technologies from a little man with a mustache and a lot of the things that he had been doing. And see, this is one of my things I try to in my research. All those people that little man with a mustache had over there, and they said, "Oh, he killed so many and he did this." A lot of these people weren't being tortured. They were in underground factories doing work. He had his own slaved workforce. Not to say by any means that what he done was right, but his biggest thing was tech and science. So when we went over there and got involved in that, which was at the end of it, not the beginning, it was in cooperation to bring scientists and technology back to our country. And a
Right.
lot of that science was how to manipulate and control a person and their mind through drugs. If anybody does not know, the ADH drug that everybody takes, Ritalin, is meth.
It
It
is.
it is FDA controlled dosage of meth. Well, if
Wow.
you'll go back and you'll look at that little man with the mustache, he was the one testing that and figured it out because he had his soldiers so addicted to it that they would dose themselves every day with methamphetamine so that they could march for days without eating, they didn't ask questions, and they were done as they were told. So when you
Yes, ma'am.
see these dudes in those videos, the way they walk, like robots, that's
Right.
because they all jacked out of their mind on methamphetamines.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, every one of them, even Hitler. If you'll go back I said his name, my bad. Little man with the mustache. If you go back and look at him, like, when he's giving speeches or he's sitting on a stage,
Yes,
you
ma'am. He can't be still. He was on it himself.
yes, sir, he was jacked out of his brain on methamphetamines.
Yeah,
But
I watched hours of that. Yes, ma'am. You're right.
if you take meth, I have actually had a conversation with somebody who was clarified as schizophrenic. I had this conversation almost 6 years ago. And somebody's at the time, I was not completely awake. And Willie, this is somebody that lives down the road from Willie. Willie's like, "You got to meet this dude. You got to listen to what he says." He says some of the most outrageous, crazy stuff from where he's been on drugs. I'm
Hmm.
like, okay. Like, guy lives in a camper, has cardboard over his windows, is always looking for the microphone in his camper. You know what I mean? Like, he's got some schizophrenia.
Yes, ma'am.
I went in and sat down and listen to what Dude Man was saying, and it blowed my mind. I looked at Willie and I'm like, "We got to go." Like, I'm waiting on this dude to come out with a butcher knife and us end up on 6 o'clock news as missing. Kinda crazy, you know?
Yes, ma'am.
6 years later, when I go back and listen to the crazy things old boy said while he was on meth, old boy weren't crazy. He was just seeing in another dimension. He was seeing the demons.
We got a comment and Copen. in the chat says Chris Cornell is his name. I'm not sure who. But
Which is it? This one or the dude with the tattoos on his face?
if you let us know in the chat, please.
I'll go look up Chris Cornell. See
Where
which
you
one
had
it is.
where you had it still there with the Super Bowl band
That
or
one.
whatever? Where you had it still, the drummer and the guy on the left, but don't worry about going back there. They look like the same person. I'm not sure if they was or not.
Okay, this right here is the Chris Cornell guy. American musician, lead vocalist, and guitarist. Soundgarden and Audio Slave. Died 2017, Detroit, Michigan. Had a concert. Was ruled a suicide by hanging.
Wow.
Wow, imagine that. Hmm.
Yeah, imagine.
So this video is pretty much telling us that that's a bull call, literally. The next thing, well, we done been here. That's Chester. We
Right
knew he
there,
was.
that
Yeah.
guy with the guitar all the way to the left. I may be wrong, but he kind of looks like the drummer guy too. But just a little favoritism.
Uh huh.
Long haired is in the chat here. You ever heard of the song Black Hole Sun?
Yes. See, now that makes
That's
sense.
Freddie Mercury there in the middle, right?
Mm-hmm. The dude on the left, watch what the dove does. See this up here? The sign says Live Aid. Must have been a concert they done. Watch
Yes,
what the
ma'am.
dove does.
Back there was something like that, right? Oh wow.
So, did you turn on the dove of peace, or I don't know? That means something. That's the only one the dove pooped on, so it
Yes,
means
ma'am.
something.
It definitely does.
And here's our boy. We know he was on the good team. I can
Well,
almost.
we think, but I mean, really, they all fade out and come back as somebody else.
Well, I think a few of these, some of these right here were legitimately. Well, we know she's been redone. Does anybody not know who she is now? This is Amy Winehouse.
Yes, ma'am.
Does everybody know who she is now? That's who she was. She is the mother of monsters now. She is Gaga.
Okay, she definitely looks like it, don't she?
Mm-hmm.
Gaga.
Mm-hmm.
Is Gaga a guy?
I'm pretty sure Gaga is a guy.
It was Michael Jackson.
And that's the end of that one. Let's see.
Traveling through time, kind of, everything they
See.
show us in our realm is pretty much a lie. Watching that video, I mean, it takes some sifting and time to figure out. So, yeah, taking us somewhat back in time, they might be projecting, who these people are in a futuristic way or something coming. And everything, like you say, is ritualistic. These things, they do it in a
Mm-hmm.
Satanist way. They did performing rituals. Space and time. That reminds me of kind of like what we've been told about space and time. A lot of these people that I'm trying to figure out, also on my channel. Yeah, this guy here, he's good.
Mm-hmm.
He can line them up like that, and yeah, and show us who they are.
See, that's the real girl there. That nose and the other nose are different. And you notice this one's got two piercings. There's your marks.
It wouldn't
But you
matter if there's a little bit of difference because if they're like shapeshifters or coming from
mm-hmm.
a different time through a portal or whatever. I'm serious. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
that would
Oh,
be
I'm
100 years old today from, from the 30s or 40s or now, like, you know, 25, 30 years old. And they're just, I mean, how do we perceive such a reality? There's something going on that we have no clue about.
Well, and I think a portion of it, like we even think about the fact, like we're talking about there, one character of central casting goes away and another takes over. But who's to say that they can't control multiples that are still forward facing and alive now, if that makes sense? See, that right there got me. Right? All right. This is another one of the guy's videos. And he's put Charlie Kirk in as a Spartan. But there's Diddy. There's Maduro. Well, why is the insurance assassin in there? I can't remember his name. I don't know. He's the one that supposedly assassinated the insurance executive in New York.
Yes, ma'am.
Luigi.
A few years ago, I remember that.
Yeah, and then it's like everything else. It just kind of disappears from the news cycle before you even realize it has. Let's see. And I don't know who that is. I'd have to go back and look at it. But I was just going to let this play in the background while we were having conversation because he's got several good videos.
It's all good. There's video out there of Zelensky that he's gay, LBGQ, whether if you knew
Oh,
that or
he
not,
is. Oh, yeah.
that he was an actor. They're all actors.
Mm-hmm. Well, and if you'll look, let's see. Let me see if I can find it. There we go. The president has a parody account. And he's never personally taken credit for it, but he's been asked by people if he was Poppy, which is the name this page goes by, Poppy Trump or whatever. And
Yes,
he's
ma'am.
see right there, Poppy Trump. He's admitted it.
Yes.
He just
Okay.
grins and smiles and says,
I thought that was just somebody putting out stuff. I've seen that channel.
"Oh no," because he has been asked by people who follow this, like, "Are you Poppy Trumpo?" And he kind of turned and looked at the girl and winked at her, and he says, "You know it," and turned around and walked away. He's admitted it several times. This is just a parody account, but he can't publicly, you know, legitimately say, "Yeah, it's mine."
Yes, ma'am.
I like to watch these videos sometimes because some of the parody ones are hilarious. This one's showing you that it's dudes up under and Tim Waltz up under it.
There's so much deception. It is really hard to go through and sift through it all. If we're being presented this stuff that it's hard to perceive. I mean, is this like Satan's work?
Well, and they bombard us with so much of it that it screws up your conceptualization of what's real and what's not. Okay, see these right here? These popcorn memes that this page puts out, and even on Trump's regular page, like there have been multiple videos of Trump having his whole like entourage of cars or whatever, when he's in transport to stop at a grocery store so he could go in and buy a big bag of popcorn.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you what you need popcorn for when you're watching a movie? And
That's
it,
right. We're watching a movie. He's got his 3D glasses on.
Yep, he's telling you he knows it's a movie. We're all watching a movie. Not that I'm pro Trump or anti Trump, but you can't know your enemy if you're not looking at them. And I assume that anybody out there that's in that government, the control of our mind, you got to watch them because you can't, if you're sitting there with your eyes closed and your back turned, you can't see them coming at you. But there are oodles and oodles of posts on here, and all of them are like popcorn.
Yes, ma'am.
They're all about popcorn.
We're watching a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's no, It's no doubt
Well,
about it, in my mind that we're watching a movie that they know the outcome. It's like it's in the future that has already happened, and we're just playing the script to catch up with the time that they already know about.
absolutely. Who's this one? The red hat. I hadn't seen this one. Is that
There's a lot
Aleister
of
Crowley?
symbolism there.
That looks like Aleister Crowley to me.
That was a lot of symbolism, that's for sure. But I'll let you keep. Yeah, that's what's her name back there? A lot of them.
Madonna. Marilyn
Kids,
Manson. I see Marilyn Manson there. Sammy Davis Jr.
you
And this is
wouldn't
just
be part of the show if you wasn't part of their Satanism, let's say.
well, the guy that I interviewed that was in the heavy metal band, he said that the handlers and the managers, he said when you first come into it and you're on tour, he's like all the alcohol you could drink, all the drugs you could do is just kind of thrown out on the coffee table in front of you. If you want something else, you just tell somebody and they'll go get it. You decide you want a 15-year-old blonde girl, they'll go find you one.
Yes, ma'am.
And he said the longer you were in it, the more depravity that you saw in what these like superstars, and how do I put this eloquently without being crude about it? To get their fix, so to speak, their level
Oh,
of depravity became much, much. It went from one or two groupies backstage to full on orgies in hotel rooms.
oh yeah.
But
I'm
he said when they would get back in the van or the bus, their handlers would actually be sitting in there reading Aleister Crowley's like directions on Satanism and their satanic Bible. He said it was just all out there. If you're not going to
really,
drink Kool-Aid, you're not going to be a part of it. And
really
he actually wasn't. He said after about a year, he'd had all he could take and he left.
right. That's yeah. I know. I've seen and heard of concerts past, and uh, R. Kelly. I mean, he just got caught, or whatever.
Home Shopping Network? Huh.
MTV,
Look at there.
Taylor Swift.
Oh, I can't stand her.
All these arches and things, So
Mm-hmm.
fat man, little boy. Uh,
See, yesterday when we were looking at that awakening map, there's a whole bunch of stuff on there about Fukushima and Hiroshima. All right. And this is another question. It's on one of my legal pads somewhere to go back down that rabbit hole and ever get there. But if Chernobyl was a meltdown and nobody can still go to Chernobyl, but yet we supposedly dropped bombs on Fukushima and Hiroshima, and they're thriving, vitalizing cities now. Something don't add up there.
yes, ma'am. Nuclear obviously is not what we're told.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure. See, that's that owl thing they got at Bohemian Grove.
Is that golden? Like a
Oh,
golden calf? It looked golden.
oh no, that's the owl. I can't back it up because of the what I don't
It's
know.
all good. I just ask questions. People see things. If you see something, I mean,
Will
if you're unsuspecting, you're not really going to see. But it takes, you know, a special eye to really decode a lot of things.
see, I've always thought that he was weird. What's
Is
his name? Kevin Spacey.
Israel flags up there?
Mm-hmm. Oh, what's his name? He was a producer. He was put in jail for killing his wife, I think, or killing a woman.
He sure looks familiar.
Oh, what is his name? He was a famous producer, music producer.
Retirement Taylor. Happy retirement. It's just, are them game posters in the background too? To to think one would decipher within minutes. I know all this has a meaning to it in their way.
All right, see this guy right here, the gray-headed guy?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever watch Sons of Anarchy?
I don't think so.
These tattoos are real. He's covered in them. I have no problem with tattoos. I got Oodles tattoos. But this guy, he always plays a neo scared if I say the word it'll trigger it, but Nazi in every movie he ever or show that he's in. That's the role he tends to play, and he's good at it. So I got a feeling, you know what I mean. You're really good at playing that part. Hey, Mr.
Right. Can you still
Glasses.
hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Would I need headphones on Daniel's
No.
show?
On Daniel's, yeah, you got to have headphones with his software.
Right. Okay. In the background, this is Times Square, right?
Uh-huh.
I reckon.
These are actors.
This poster here, Hoffman, Phoenix, the
Mhm.
Master. Uh, it's probably something revealing in that. Uh, I'll let you talk.
Oh, no, go right ahead. We're both looking at it. We're picking things out that just because I see it, don't you know what I mean? And vice versa. See, Crowley's wearing mud boots. I don't know if that's where they showed him in the tunnel. Oh, here's the Tupac hologram
Yes,
concert with Snoop Dogg.
holographic. I think a lot of these shows that we don't even realize are holographic.
Oh yeah, I really do. Good morning. There's the Hanabu craft.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Uh-huh. Like your World Economic Forum.
What we're seeing is not real.
Uh-uh.
I can't comprehend a lot of it myself and to come to terms. It's just one of them deep rabbit holes that you get in, you're in there a while. You might not ever even come out of.
I don't think I'll ever dig out of the rabbit holes that I end up like. And it's crazy. Yeah, see, here's some of the same people from the other one that are popping up in his other videos. This one's more about the Epstein stuff. But um the channel that has produced all of these guys is I Can't Even Productions on X because I want to make sure he gets full credit. Because I'm telling you, I have you create, stuff for the show, like a prompt or whatever. It's not easy. That takes a lot of work. So you got to be skilled at. But I don't know that graffiti on that wall of that video just screamed the iPet goat to me. But if anybody wants to go look at him, he's got oodles of them on here
I can't even production.
of all.
I'm going to look it up because, yeah,
His there you go. That's his information. He doesn't have a great deal of followers, but I follow the White Rabbit. I find some extremely interesting things. Not to say that I agree or disagree, but you go out there and you look at the information that's presented and you dig through it and you got to figure out what is and isn't. But
they're not going to really show you in a way that it's obvious.
uh-uh. And there's and
Yeah, I
I
played
haven't
that
even
on
been
the
there.
video yesterday. The old guy. Did you hear what he said at the end? They have all this
Uh-uh.
technology. It's okay. Don't worry about it. They have all this technology. They can see your brain. They can scan your heart. All these things. Ultrasound for a baby. And at the end, he says, "Why does the doctor still use his finger on a man?"
Ain't it?
With all the
Well, see,
technology, yes.
well, Trump made the comment the other day that they were fixing to come out with 6G. And I don't know if it was a Freudian slip or if he did it on purpose, but he was talking about that they would be able to see through you with 6G.
I think they
Eh,
already have it out.
Well, I'm sure they have it out. But as far as our knowledge of what we would know that they have out, we never know. Um, this is another one that I look at on X. He's canary in the coal mine, and he shares a lot of stuff, and he has some like super duper videos of like he'll take a movie and show you how this, 4 movies all line up with the toroidal thing that Daniel talks about with the earth and the way energy flows and
Yes, ma'am,
some of
like
these
a tornado in a way.
yeah. This guy right here has some excellent information. And see, Shannon and I spotted this trophy. And if you'll watch when they open that trophy, it turns into one of these wheels within wheel generator things.
That's like the looking glass, I believe.
Mhm.
They can see into the future. This thing has a remote control or something to it, or he can
Mhm.
lock it in or something. I was going to look deeper into that, but it is an illusion. I'll use the word there on the screen of the looking glass.
Yes. And to my understanding, with Project Looking Glass, everything I can find is that there there was one eventual outcome, regardless of how they tried to view the future or change decisions or whatever. It all came to one eventual outcome, which is exactly what the Bible laid out. And anybody out there who is just waking up, has just awakened, Um, I suggest one of the first things you do in your awakening is go read the book of Enoch. The book of Enoch sets everything in play to understand if you believe in the Bible, you go back and you read Enoch and then you figure out the other books of the Bible that they selectively deleted to separate you from your own connection with source, God, source, whatever you call it. That was your disconnection, and they needed you disconnected so you didn't understand how to reconnect. Because if you don't have connection of source, it opens the door for demonic entities, and that's when you become a they them. But yeah, this canary, he's got some really cool stuff in here, and it's
Maybe
yeah that
maybe why they use like CERN and this looking glass. I know the looking glass is like a futuristic um to let's say unfocus our reality on their reality.
correct. They're trying to alter the decision of or trying to alter the outcome of the future. And essentially in any comic book or superhero movie that we've ever watched, there's a good guy and a bad guy, a good side and a bad side. Just like Super Bowl, there's two teams, A and B, red and blue, white and black, up and down. They are trying to sway where the scales tip, light versus dark, good versus bad. And we hear about it in the simplest of terms. We've always heard about it, about how it's who has the most souls, like, sitting on their side of the scale, the demons or God, Jesus. We got light and we got dark, and it's all about controlling the tipping of that scale. The blinded lady, as you see, that's supposed to be the blind of justice, but everything works in that way. And they put this crap in front of you in superhero movies and comic books so that you think that it's a fantasy fiction that's not real. But if you believe in the Bible and you go back and you read Enoch, it's all been real the whole time. But as long as they kept you dumb and blind to it, you couldn't tune in and pick a side. You were just kind of zombieing through life. There we go, life without thinking about the game.
Yes, ma'am. They've tapped in to something that I don't know if it would be from way back or just they've tapped into something that like another dimension and we don't have that type of technology and they can control, and everything by doing that.
Well, this is an excellent graphic that I have come across several times. This is your brain. This is your pineal gland, which has been calcified through fluoride, chemicals in your food, etc. This is what makes all of this and you and your soul connect to source, creator, God, whatever you call it. And this relates to the movie Matrix. This is actually what they call the reptilian part of your brain. That is exactly where Neo was plugged in the movie The Matrix. But your neocortex is the front part of your brain, which works with the pineal gland to create connection to source. This part of the brain, the reptilian part of the brain, is the part that is easily controllable with microwave and EMF and voice to skull technology. The purple part, that's how they control their NPCs. They don't want the blue to be activated because then you can disconnect the purple. That's why they don't want to take the fluoride out the water. The fluoride is anesthesia.
Oh yeah, so it decalcifies your third eye, the pineal gland.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, guys. Well, I guess we give everybody enough rabbit holes to go down. I'm looking for
I
crowd
do have
investigations.
I have
Go
one
ahead.
more thought, like reincarnation. And I don't know if it's on the same line of reincarnation, but it's somewhat how I picture how they've tapped into something that, they can from way back use the same character from way back uh, as they can use the same character that it should be dead by, they should and bring the same character that, with the same, familiarity, I say, or looks into a different scene. I don't think it's reincarnation, but it would be, maybe.
Well, you're 99% on the money from what I've seen. The dark side, the evil ones, Earth is a soul trap to them. They cannot ascend. They cannot go to meet God because they're evil. So this place is a soul trap. This is one of the reasons that we see that these rich elites, the super, top families to start with R's and stuff,
Yes, ma'am.
that they have such incestuous cousins and brothers and sisters having babies together
Right.
because they know that that soul is trapped here. So as long as that, okay, from their idea of reincarnation, and I don't know that this is true. This is what I have studied that they believe is true. They believe that reincarnation happens because they are evil. They don't think they're evil, they think they're righteous. But that the soul reincarnates here, that it's trapped on earth. So they believe that souls come back in the same family bloodline. So it would be that if my parent or my dad he passed before my grandchildren were born, and my grandmother passed before my grandchildren were born. In their eyes, it would be a good possibility that one of these children would be that person, that soul is in one of my
Yes,
grandchildren.
ma'am.
Like my granddaughter would be my grandmother, her soul. And you've heard people say a lot of times about children that they seem like an old
Yes,
soul.
ma'am.
I have a niece who is 3.5, 4 years old. And, out of the mouth of babes, they don't know the lie, they tell you the truth. The best I can figure in some children up until they are fourish, 5 or 6, that they really start forming and holding memories of their experiences of life. They've got old experiences in there. I'm pretty sure that child is a cousin that died years ago tragically in a car accident, which sounds crazy because I've never really thought about the belief in the reincarnation system. But some of the things that 3.5-year-old baby says, there's no way she should know, because our cousin died 12, 13, 15 years ago.
Yes, ma'am.
She died on the way home from work. She worked at Hooters. She was on the way home driving a Miata, ran off the road, we think to avoid a deer or something, or maybe fell asleep. The steering wheel come loose in that Miata and come up and almost decapitated
Oh,
her.
wow.
Beautiful girl, 18 years old. Could have been on the cover of any magazine. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Beautiful girl, smart. And my baby niece has now told us that that was the second time that she died. That the first time she died, she drowned in a big boat.
mm,
The second time she was in that little car and the deer come out and it knocked her head off. I got a 3.5-year-old that told me that.
it may be a way they've figured out to move your soul. I don't know. I mean, I'm just
Well, and like we were talking about the Amy Winehouse and the Gaga thing, I think they've got good enough now in those families that they don't even have to wait for the birth to happen, that they can just kind of take a soul out of one body and put another in another body, kind of the central casting thing.
yes, ma'am. They kind of like your conscience and the AI. They want to move it into the AI.
Oh, absolutely.
It, we wouldn't have thought about this 50, 40, 30 years ago. Any of this could be possible.
No, and if you go and look up, like they've taken microscopic samples of human tissue, how much data, I think it's like 1 terabyte, that they can store, access, and use off of a skin cell of a human the size of the end of a ballpoint ink pen.
Wow.
And that explains to you what value your physical body has to them.
Yes, ma'am.
Everything is a battery to them, whether it be your energy, your body, your consciousness, your brain. And when they get done with that, they'll harvest your blood and your organs. And I mean, they're gonna reuse everything. But anyway, we're getting a little deep and dark, but it's the truth. They are master evil recyclers, shall we say? They ain't
Well,
there yet.
they seem to be doing something that we're not caught up with, and they are years in advance. If we knew the stuff that they had that they could still use, I'm sure there's more that we can't even fathom.
Well, and and it's slow, and they do it intentionally about freedom of information that gets out there. So then you got whistleblowers that come out, and you don't know who to believe and who not to believe, or is it disinformation or whatever. So that's why I try to go backwards, because even like with the Bible, we know, and my mother in law, she's 80 some years old, wonderful woman, been to church her whole life, good Southern Baptist. She's never had a drink of alcohol. That kind of woman. Ain't never done nothing but go to church and worship,
Yes,
three
ma'am.
days a week, Sunday school teacher. She looked at me the other night and she's like, "Do you know that there are books that they left out the Bible?" And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am. There's a lot of books they left out the Bible." So I started sending her YouTube videos because she's getting older and it's harder for her to sit down and read. And we ordered her an Ethiopian Bible so she could see them in print. And she says, "Well, why would King James do that?" I said, "No, hang on. You're referencing King James as though he's some holy man. You assume because it says King James Bible that King James was some astute holy man that was revered around the world." I said, "Would you let Trump or Obama or Bush edit your Bible?" She kind of looked at me. I said, "That's exactly who King James was." I said, "Except this man wrote 2 books on demonology prior to editing the Bible, drug his own mother out in the street and had her beheaded because she spoke up about his orgies with other men that he had in the dungeon with his dogs."
Mm.
And she kind of looked at me. I said, "That's who King James was. This is the man that nearly financially broke his country to edit and alter a book and publish it and put it in every home. You got to understand in 1590, whatever it was, when this book was edited, most people couldn't even read. They had no need to own a book. And he almost bankrupted his whole country to publish and pass these out.
Right.
Why? Why?
More questions than answers, that's for sure.
That's why I go backwards. When I start looking for answers, I go backwards. I think about the telephone game that we used to play as kids. I whisper something in your ear, you whisper it to Daniel, Daniel whispers it to Kim, Kim whispers it to Shannon, and then Shannon whispers it back to me. It's not even the same story anymore. Nobody did it with malice. You didn't tell Daniel something different than I told you. You told him what you heard or what your brain perceived.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
if I tell you Daniel wore a pink shirt on Monday to Burger King, you turn around and tell Daniel that. By the time it gets back to me, Daniel went to Burger King and got a chicken sandwich, and the lady at the counter was wearing a pink shirt. There was no malice in it. It just got jumbled. And when you go translation from one language to another, the etymology of words, what a word means in Latin, it may not mean in Hebrew.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, the Bible's been somewhat changed around.
So that's why I have gone back to the Ethiopian Bible, because as far as I can tell, that is the most original, complete version of all of those books and apocrypha that they have found over the years and the Ethiopian priests have kept. Now, I don't know if anybody else knows this, but the Ark of the Covenant is sitting in Ethiopia. The original Ark of the Covenant sits in Ethiopia. It has for hundreds and hundreds of years.
I've seen something about that.
They have, if you're a priest that gets selected to guard it, nobody goes near it. Nobody's ever tried to steal it or rob it.
It's some small building, I believe, that it's in.
Little teeny small building with like a wrought iron fence around it with a gate. And all of the priests who guard it, every single one of them ends up blind, like they've been exposed to radiation. Every
Oh,
single one of them. Nobody's tried to steal it. Nobody's tried to bother it. They know better.
well, I
They
hope
know
so.
better.
Well, thank
All
you for
right.
having me on, Miss Roxy.
Well, thank you for coming. It was nice to have you on the show. I think we're all going to try to start doing this a little more, like get on each other's shows, and because it's always nice to have somebody else's perspective of what they see that you might have missed out of, your own eye. It's hard to see sometimes. So if anybody's got any information in the chat, something we missed or something you saw, we'll have another discussion. Hey, Rebecca, thank you for joining us. And hey, Miss Kay, I saw you out there. So leave a comment, post it on the community board. You can post it right below this. We'll go through these videos again. But thank you for coming, Super Dave, and thank you for everybody that was in the audience. Daniel should be on later this afternoon, I'd imagine. And Shannon and I'll be back tomorrow night. Have a good day.